Attention all drivers, I'm begging you to slow it down, slow it down, slow it down, down. Too many stop drivers on the road, man. With the fire day, driver, what's your emergency? It's better late than never. So why all the hurry? Speeding is the main cause of plenty mishaps. The road is now a racetrack, threatening life and property, and all the result of that led to death and injury. Inconsiderate driving, this nonsense need to stop. Stop. I'm making it my business to alert all motorists, especially those who love to break traffic laws. I have seen what speed can do. Here I am to your rescue to help you to live. Just take this advice I give. I want in all drivers to take care of your passengers. Be careful on the road. Hey. Don't make it an episode. How much more tragedy we have to endure to face the reality. Less is safer than more. I'm begging all-
And that's what we're doing. We're slowing it down right now. Welcome to the program. Welcome to the program on the road for today, Wednesday, the 11th day of March 2026. In the studio with me, I have Officer Bell and I have Sergeant McGuire. Good morning to both of you and welcome to the program.
Good morning, GQ, and morning to our radio listeners.
Let's get right into a conversation. It's a short time that we have, and I would like to get as much people in as possible.
Yes.
I just received the lineup. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. Who's going to start? Officer Bell, you're going to start?
Yes, good morning, GQ again. Today our topic for on the road, registration and licensing of motor vehicles. You know, we have different types of motor vehicles. We require different documents, you know, to complete the change of the registration, especially the importation of vehicles from Japan.
Okay.
You know, we have an increase with those vehicles. Okay. This law is from the Vehicles and Road Traffic Act, Chapter 15.06, Section 8.1. Okay. Registration of motor vehicles. The St. Christopher Nevis Licensing Authority / the Traffic Department of the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force is tasked with the responsibility of administering driver and vehicle license and is empowered under the Vehicles and Road Traffic Act, Chapter 15.06. The licensing authority works closely with the Inland Revenue Department, which issues both driver's license cards and vehicle decals after payment of the appropriate fees. No person shall drive or keep for use on a road, or being the owner shall permit another person to drive a motor vehicle on a road unless such vehicle is registered under this act and has affixed thereto in the prescribed manner and the prescribed identification mark, which would be the number plate and the license sticker.
Okay.
A person who acts in contravention of the provision in this section commits an offense and shall, on a summary conviction, be liable to a fine not exceeding $300. Now, GQ, this might sound small, but there are other offenses that would stem from this one offense, okay? Because if you're driving a vehicle that is not registered, it is not licensed. I mean, it is not licensed and it is not insured. And the insurance is the major offense here, okay?
Got you.
Even if you get caught driving and you don't have a license, the fee for driving without a valid and unexpired license is smaller than the fee for driving when not covered by insurance.
The penalty is higher.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, $1,500.
And above.
Depends. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Application for the registration of a motor vehicle shall be made by the owner. A public service vehicle other than a self-driven vehicle with the approval of the minister in the case of a motor omnibus or the tourism authority in the case of a taxi or tour bus.
Right. GQ, just permit me to emphasize, explain self-driven vehicle. Because I was thinking back that when I see this, I used to just slip over it and assume that a self-driven vehicle is a vehicle like for special, differently able people. But it's not until it was explained to me by the deputy that a self vehicle, because the conversation came about rentals. So we looking in the act to find specifically no rental shall be tinted. But that is when it was explained to me that a rental under the classifications of vehicles. So like you have tour buses, public service vehicle, you have private vehicle, and you have the self-drive. So rentals falls under self-drive vehicles, meaning that vehicles that you drive yourself. So you have the public service, and you have the classification of
Got you.
drivers.
Gotcha.
Just like with a taxi is referred to as a chauffeur, I think.
Chauffeured?
Yes. So then I
Okay.
did not realize that they are
The extent
in
of the
law,
classification.
right? There are classification.
Okay.
And so self-drive vehicle is really vehicles that you drive your own self. You are not driven by anybody.
Okay.
And so on. But the private vehicle, one might say, but private vehicle you drive it yourself, but that is a classification already.
Right. Okay.
So for the purpose of rental vehicles, it is classified as a self-driven vehicle.
Okay. Then.
Yes.
Thanks for that.
Yes.
That clarification. I
Yes.
wasn't aware of that myself.
Yeah.
Yes. So, GQ, when it comes to the registration of private vehicles, any vehicles that you're importing, but I will start with the private vehicles. The owner must have certain documents to do that registration. Okay? They must have, in the case of them importing a vehicle, they must have the customs form, the certificate of title, and the inspection from the Bureau of Standard. That inspection would be done before the vehicle is even imported into the Federation.
Right.
Now, this is to avoid problems that we were encountering back in the past, where persons would have imported vehicles, and only when they are ready to clear the vehicles from customs, they are faced with the challenges. You know, they can't get to clear the vehicle because the tint exceeding the limit. You know, they claim that the vehicle is factory tinted. If it is factory tinted, it is still supposed to comply with what the law states, which is the 35% and above. So if you're importing a vehicle, we want to ensure before that vehicle come to the Federation and you're faced with these challenges. Sometimes it's an honest challenge the customer might face. Sometimes it's some persons being malicious, they probably figure they have a friend who could help them get through with the vehicle. But they will still face these problems for further inspection, especially to license the vehicle after the current year. Persons with the customs form, before they leave the customs department, we want them to ensure that all the information that is on that customs form is complying with the information for the vehicle. Because when they come to traffic, if all the information and details are not corresponding, we cannot and we will not register that vehicle unless the correct information is provided. So sometimes we find persons, they come to the department and they have to go back up to customs, and they feel as if it is frustrating. Yes, it is frustrating, but it cannot take you 5 minutes after you receive the customs form for you to back check with the details, especially from the certificate of title that you would have received on ordering the vehicle. Now, another issue we have, persons, they might not be that versed with computers in terms of ordering, so they allow someone to order on their behalf. Now, if that person ordered the vehicle on their behalf, that vehicle may come in their name. No, not because you paid me to order the vehicle for you. When the vehicle reached, means you can now come to traffic and just do the registration. The name that is on that vehicle, and the certificate of title, that person has to come and do that registration or give us in writing, approval for you to do that registration on their behalf.
Okay.
I don't know if this.
So that is something important for persons to take note of when you ask people to order vehicles for you, because the certificate of title, one, the requirement is that the vehicle cannot be registered unless the ownership is established, properly established, and we rely on the certificate of title. So if it is a case when the person did the order, they would have ordered it in their name, they will now have to present to traffic a letter directing traffic that the vehicle should be registered in GQ name, because GQ is the owner, the one who ordered the vehicle.
Right.
So
I was just doing the transaction on this.
right,
behalf.
yes. So that is something that the general public should take note of, that when that happens, you ensure that the certificate of title is in your name if you are the owner of
So
the
more or less
vehicle.
due diligence then.
Yes, yes. It is very important that take place. Yeah.
I just want to let the public know that the lines are open, 465-1977 and 662-8674. Before we continue, someone is further clarifying your statement on self-drive vehicles by saying it's called a self-drive vehicle because it's a hired vehicle like a taxi, H-bus, etc., but not chauffeured.
Say that again.
It's called a self-drive vehicle because it is a hired vehicle, like a taxi,
Okay.
H-bus, etc., but not chauffeured.
Understand. Yeah.
And
Yeah, I agree.
they're referring to the rentals, right?
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
I agree.
Right.
I agree also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is basically, it's exactly what I was saying
Right.
in relation to that. But it's because that self-driven vehicle, a lot of people, including myself, are not familiar with that phrase.
Yes.
And so most people are not aware
Yes.
that
They
that
might-
is how it is.
They might think it's a
Right.
vehicle that is
Because
driving
when I
itself.
asked the question about rental, and in fact, I never see the word rental in the Vehicles and Road Traffic Act.
Okay.
And so on. So the deputy say you will never find it. So then it comes under self-driven vehicle.
Right. Okay. I guess because it's self-explanatory.
Yes.
Good morning. You're live.
Yeah, morning, GTO.
Yes, morning.
Yeah, concerning conversation this morning, right? I sent a voice note. I don't know if you listen to it.
No,
sorry.
not as yet. No, not as
I don't
yet.
know if you listen to that yet.
Can it be played on air?
Yeah, you could play it because something is a concern concerning the crossing.
All right.
But what I want to ask, right? If you park in front of PDC there and Central Street, that's going to go 4th Street and turn right. But in front of Finco, there's a yellow line there. I want to know if the yellow line belongs to PDC. You could get a ticket there?
Anyway, yellow lines
Anyway,
are
yellow
placed,
line, no one is
there
supposed to park.
is a traffic restrictions.
Yeah, it's not an area allotted for anyone unless it says reserved.
Exactly.
Okay, my thinking was that it was CDC don't want it to park in for the business. So
No. And that is something we have to really monitor, because we realize that persons are taking it upon themselves and do that, and that is unlawful.
Yes.
No kind of traffic restriction should be placed unless authorized by the licensing authority. Even when people use different things to mark the parking and so on, that's an obstruction, is an offense. It should not happen under no circumstance. And even people, we notice that persons are getting their own cones and they put them in place and so on. All those are they are offenses. And once I come around and I see them, I go in with them. They don't. You're not police. You are not authorized. So I'll take them up.
Okay.
okay, that's fair enough. But did you understand say, right, in the voice note, the crossing, let's say for the KFC, for instance, they keep painting it and the painting coming off and people keep crossing. I mean, they pass the crossing by the gut where the light is and come across and cross in for the KFC. I think that should cut out the road and just repave it. The painting ain't gonna come back. That's my suggestion.
Yeah, it's a suggestion that has already been suggested. Public Works is aware of it. Is the action behind it, and I myself would have witnessed the inconvenience because it's just not practicable. It's smack center in the traffic light, so it is not a realistic and a logical means of traffic flow. And so it's really something that really need to be prioritized. But, you know, we have been bringing this to the attention of the Public Works Department for time and time again and not been very successful in getting the result we really intended.
Let's go back to the phone line. Good morning. You're live.
Mr. Libert, good morning to you. Officer Bell, Officer Maguire, good morning to you all.
Good morning,
Mr.
sir.
Christopher.
Officer Bell and Officer Maguire, just a while ago someone called and asked a question about restricted parking where there is a yellow line. However, they specifically speak of a certain area in Bastia. And I understand what you all said is quite right. It is so true. But there's a program that's called Policing with You on Thursday. And I do believe it's not only related to that particular program, it's related to the traffic department. If we're going to police with you all, you all need to police with us. Listen very carefully. On Monday, March 2nd, at 9:50 a.m., approximately 9:50 a.m., on the road of Celia Christopher Street, that's the street from the top of the traffic light by Best Buy or TDC Automotive, all the way down to Fisheries. There was a vehicle parked on the edge of the road, and 2-3 other vehicles, I am not exaggerating when I say this, parked, but there was a traffic flow all the way down on the top of the road. And there was a government vehicle, a police vehicle, G220, a truck, stopped and had to wait, and I'm not going to exaggerate either, approximately 5 minutes for traffic to flow. For him to pass and go up, I was directly behind of him. And if it is true what all you said about the person just asked about restricted area and the color paint on the road, why, if he may not be employed directly or is working in the Department of Traffic, why, if he know the law, like we know the law, why couldn't he go inside the enterprise, which is an enterprise, because that's where all of them would go. If they're going to go to the Island Bakery, there is space over there. There was space over by Island Bakery to park the vehicle, going to buy their breakfast at mornings, and they all occupy that stretch of road where there's a yellow line, and the police sit in his truck and wait for the traffic to clear coming down the road approximately 5 minutes and drove off. And if he see that, recognize that, I did too. And if I realize what happened, he too would have realized that and didn't move. Just wait for the traffic to flow and go because it's okay. It can't be okay. You're talking one thing off a page of reading of the same book, and he reading off another chapter, which of course is significant about what we saw, we just heard, and you all respond, which is correct. So what is you are giving preferential treatment and privilege to certain people, and it's okay one area but not the other. Officer, I am very unhappy about what I saw. And obviously, I was waiting for this moment to talk about it. That's just one episode. There are other episodes. I will wait
Mr.
until
Christopher,
whenever I
so
have time to talk about them. But
Yes.
you all have a good day.
Yes,
and goodbye.
yes, you're right. Thank you so much. I listen to your concern, and there is a simple fix, because it's one thing to, when you are disturbed by an inaction of a police officer, and another thing not to really take the action that requires that situation to be corrected. And so we say time and time again, there is a department that deals with police misconduct, the professional standard. And I am one of the prosecutors for these disciplinary tribunals. And so this police force hold officers accountable for their actions when it is not consistent with the code and ethics or the values that reflect on the reputation of a professional organization, or their inaction that will also bring the organization in disrepute. And we encourage every citizen that you must do your part and be part of that accountability when it comes to your police officers. And so if you see something that you know is not an acceptable act of an officer, then there is an area that you can go and have that redressed. And it's good to highlight it on a program like this, but at this stage, other than ventilating, there isn't anything that will happen beyond here.
Can you share the number to call for that department?
Well, there isn't a direct number, but once you go through the police headquarters, 2240-1465, and you ask them to put you on, connected to the Office of Professional Standard, then you would be connected. Or you can go right to the Bastille Police Station. It's just across from the guard room. And so once you state your business at the front desk, they will direct you. So it is accessible.
Okay.
It is accessible.
Here's another concern that is coming in. Forgive me, gentlemen. This person says there are too many individuals turning across the traffic lights. Something needs to be done about that.
Right. And I agree. As I said, that part of our technological advancement, we are looking at digitizing, but before that, the cameras, installation of cameras, there are some areas where cameras are in place. I myself have witnessed it time and time again. Perhaps we may have to become more forceful, more consistent in the enforcement in relation to prosecution. Because things, to me, this is how things become normalized. And it is reckless and dangerous to the other person. The thing, GQ, that it is expected that we all are civic-minded, and we should really be civil and very, very, very civic in what we do. We are mature individuals, and we know right from wrong, but there will always be persons who will go different from the normal standard of a reasonable person. And those are the times when we have to take action. And even when police take action, the public themselves basically disapprove sometimes of the action taken by the police.
It's a song and dance. It's a song and dance. We have a voice note coming in. Hold on, guys.
Good morning, GQ. Good morning to radio listeners, and good morning to Officers Maguire and Bell. I have a little concern and recommendation. It relates to the tinting of the windscreen. I got a new vehicle in December, actually on December 23rd, and it passed the inspection, but it ends in a 2. And so when I went to license it, I was told by the female attendant at the time that the windscreen is not the not the windscreen, the tint on the windscreen should be 10 inches. And it is on one side because the windscreen is curved in the corners, they are 13. So I had to remove basically 3 inches from the tint. But the thing is, the windscreens, they are not tinted from the outside. They are tinted on the inside. So I don't understand why they are being measured from the outside. And I think that, the officers should use their discretion. Again, I said that it was a new vehicle. It was passed in December, actually almost to the end of December, and then I had to go and take off the piece of the tint before I got the vehicle passed again. And so now, for measuring it from the inside, when you do the measuring, it is just maybe about 8.5. It's not the 10 because I had to do it from the inside. So maybe you guys need to go back to the AG and maybe amend that so that the measurement of the tint be done from the inside of the windscreen and not on the outside. Have a good day.
Well, JQ, I take it that caller is now rewriting the law as to that the tint must be measured from the inside and not the outside. It's interesting that sometimes how convenient we try to really accommodate our own mindset and our own desires. And we think that a way to do that is just to ignore what is written in law or the spirit of the law. And so the law requires that the tint be measured from the outside, from the top. And so if that's what the law requires, then that is what has to happen. I understand the extra 3 inches, and so the law was so specific that it must be measured from the corner. Mm-hmm. And so if you get 13 inches from the corner, then it's not consistent with the law. The law said 10 inches. Mm-hmm. And so it doesn't matter of the curvature of the windscreen. That is why the law specifically requires the measurement to be done from the top, from any of the corner. We have also recognized that, and we would have asked officers not to ticket persons because of it falls outside of the law, but point it out to the person and have them corrected. I thought the caller was mentioning about a problem that we recognize, that the new vehicles, when they're tinted by the dealers, they tint the windscreen beyond the 10 inches, but it use a lighter film. But it's still in violation with the law. Mm-hmm. And so we are at the point where we are going to meet with these dealers and we are going to point out the law to them, and we are going to at least, because some people try to be clever and they say, well, the glass is not tinted, but we know that the glass is tinted. It's obvious that it's tinted. And so we know, we have ways of knowing, and so we will go and we will do a sample of the vehicles that have not been sold, and we will speak to the dealers as to what the law requires. Because I think it's not really reasonable that if you buy a new vehicle and you buy it and then shortly after you bought it, then the police is telling you that you're in violation and you have to pay a fine.
Yeah. I'm going to let Bucky come in. Bucky want to ask you a question, but please note, though, she was recommending.
Right. Well, the recommendation I don't think is a practical one.
Okay.
Yeah, because the notion that the measurement should be done in the inside and so forth, because the tint is being placed from the inside, is not really one that is suit the logic in terms of addressing the spirit of the law.
That could create a little.
Yeah.
That could create a little conflict also for the officers, because the fact that the police stop you, the driver, him or herself, already in a state of mind. Who would want an officer to be in their vehicle sitting, measuring the thing to give them a ticket, Most of the time, persons, they prefer that you stand outside of their vehicle and deal with them so they can keep going. We don't want the officer go in the vehicle. There's all kinds of different claims that were happening in the vehicle.
Right.
Also.
So it serves as a form of protection for the officer as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's my personal opinion.
Okay.
Yes.
Bucky, you can come in, Bucky, and then we'll take another call. I'm waiting for 9 o'clock report, which is not ready yet, so I'll let Bucky go.
Quickly, it was brought to my attention, and persons asked me, and I have the perfect officers there. What is the procedure in having a line by your establishment? How do you go about that? Is it a fee? What's the procedure?
A line or
That person
reserved
thinking
area?
that, what you call, like you own the spot, so no other vehicle can park there besides you.
A reserved area.
Right. Well,
A reserve, yes,
well,
sir.
Bucky,
A
let
reserve.
me let you know clearly, and please understand, nobody, no one in St. Christopher Nevis own any area on the road. That should be emphatically clear. Nobody own any spot, whether reserve or otherwise. What happens is that the person will write to the licensing authority. The licensing authority will make an assessment, and based on the need, the licensing authority will grant on a basis of discretion, and they'll provide for that, for the licensing authority to do that. So that reserve parking can be removed at any time. It can be rescinded at any time. And so this thing about people paying for spot, that is untrue.
So there's no fee. There's no
There
fee.
is no fee. You will not be fined, or you will not be charged for any fee. Neither can anyone own any special parking or any special reserve allocation for them.
So why it is really? Is it that you're giving them that permission to offload and unload, or you're giving them to park by the establishment for a period of time? Could you give me some more meat on the bone?
It depends on the need.
The need, Bucky, for like businesses and so on depends on the area. And so if it's a business that does frequent transactions, or because the thing about it, persons, one of the things that people must always remember, when you identify in a business location, you have to think about parking. It's not the licensing responsibility to provide parking for your customers. So the drop off is used mainly to facilitate the business taking stock or offloading stock, and so it's a temporary disruption of the traffic flow, and that has been given from a discretionary basis, but it's not no ownership of anything.
Hello?
Yeah, he's trying.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that.
While we're on that, I just want to remind persons that on the Bay Road, in the vicinity of Courts and Rams, it's not a parking area. It's for offloading and unloading. It's not a parking area for customers, for the businesses. And a lot of persons, there's a big sign there on the post, but persons ignore it. And when you come there and you enforce the law, you give them ticket, they claim they don't know. But there's a sign right there. And it's a time period also where persons are trying to, bypass and go there and park. They don't want to go and pay for a parking area. So they prefer to pay a $100, $150 ticket than to pay $5 to get a secure parking area. I really don't understand that logic.
I hear you. I'm not dismissing what you're saying. I'm trying to make sure I get enough information across from all listeners, right? Before I go to the phone call, Maguire, a
Yes.
number of individuals, they are raising the concern that it is coming across that you are ignoring the lady's recommendation and asking why cannot the law be amended? Aren't laws or cannot laws be amended?
Well, I think Bell would have because the thing about it, if we take the lady's recommendation as it is, I think Bell would have really make a very good point as to, because it's not only about the law. When I speak to the spirit of the law, what I actually meant is to address the mischief, or whatever the objective that the law is setting out to achieve. And so it cannot be achieved if it is done from the inside of the vehicle. It's not practicable for more reasons than one. So it's not a matter of ignoring one's recommendation. We always value, and this is the purpose of the program, to get feedback from the general public. But sometimes if it is not a practicable one, and we say that, we did not say it in any way of being dismissive,
Or
but
with
we are-
malice.
or with malice. It is done without malice. But because the thing about it is that when these recommendations are being made, they have to be made with justification. And so the justification has to be there. So you can put forward recommendation to the government to consider, but then it has to have the proper justification. It's just like people when with speeding, people say, well, why don't we just increase the speed limit and so on. And so it's not a matter of saying increasing the speed limit. You have to look at the data. You have to look at other things. And once you can justifiably find reasons for that, then that's how recommendations are being really seriously considered.
Okay, so in summary, we do, for now, as it is, the law is working properly for the police. It's in the favor of the police. So for us to take our suggestion, it's not that we're not listening to the caller, but why would we amend something to create a problem for the officers when it's working good for us? No. If you understand, JK.
I understand what you're saying. I hope.
so-
it's not that I don't understand.
No,
I hope the audience
Yeah, yeah.
with
Yeah,
the
so-
concern understands.
But even as this I speak about speeding, a lot of persons are saying the speed limit is back in colonial times and too slow. But if it is too slow now and we have so much accidents as a result of speeding, imagine when we increase that speed limit. The accidents are going to increase and fatalities are going to increase. So why would we create a problem for the police to have to go back and fix after? Persons make their suggestion based on their personal favor sometimes.
I think what struck a nerve with our audience is maybe how you addressed
The wristband,
at the top where you said it seemed like she's trying to rewrite the law.
Okay, I apologize, GQ. Our audience, if that came over a little bit in the wrong context, I apologize. I did not really. What I meant to say is that because the law clearly states that because the law give direction. It's not that it's just written. It said how it must be done, and so to now said, well, recommend that it be done the other way is in itself rewriting the law. So if the way how I really address it might be a little bit unfriendly is not intentional. So I apologize. Yes.
Takes a man to do that. I respect that, and I hope the audience and those in question accept your
And
apology.
to answer
too.
the audience,
Yes.
yes, laws can be amended, but with the amendment, you must provide details as to how effective these amendments would be based on what is already provided in the law.
Okay.
So it's not just giving your suggestion and, it's not even our decision to make those amendments. It has to be, from the AG and up. So we can give our suggestion, but with suggestions, we have to provide, facts and,
The data.
data
correlate,
to ensure that this amendment is not going to create a more problem than solution.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
hear you.
I see her suggestion creating problems, because sometimes persons don't even want to turn down the windows, when they are coming to checkpoints, they turn down the windows, they don't want to turn them back up for us to inspect them. But by law, we can
Right.
have them turn up the windows,
Right.
but their opinions are, we didn't see any offense for us to stop. But if we suspect,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a different
The,
story.
the thing about it, the tinting offenses and
it's wide.
it is a very sensitive area. So is the speed limits, and so we understand that sometimes these might be a little. It will take more effort to get the buy-in and to get persons to really understand the importance of the enforcement. We understand that, but in the meantime, we want the public, the general public, to know that we are policing together. So we are policing our own selves, and our action, though it might be somewhat inconvenience, but it is for the ultimate good.
Gentlemen, I hate to in the program right now. A number of concerns are coming in as it relates towards you, Maguire, and the traffic law, right? But if I do continue the conversation, engage, we're gonna run over into Skellig time, which is coming up next, and we need the cameras to get them organized, right? So, for those of you who are sending in your messages, and for those that I have not read and shared with Maguire so he can hear your concern, I do apologize, but we are out of time.
Well, when we come back next week, we could start with those.
Okay.
We could start with those because the issue of licensing, we won't be able to cover it in one show.
Okay.
So then we will have to take it in phases, like when we were doing the windscreen and so.
windscreen. Okay.
Yeah,
because
so
we
we'll
didn't
have to
even
spend
reach
a while
half
with
of
it.
this.
Yes.
All right. So,
right.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Sergeant Maguire has agreed to come back and hear your concerns, and so has Mr. Bell.
Yes.
Thank you for listening, and stay tuned. Coming up in just about 15 minutes or less, it's Skellig Power Talk.